Hey everyone! Today we're going to take a close look at the components of Kinfire Council, the Winds of Change expansion, the upgrade kit, and the fancy first player marker in this little box. If you'd like a faster overview instead, take a look at our short unboxing videos. We have one for each one of them, and I'll put all the links in the description below. So let's start with the base game first. I'll put this aside for now and open the box. So, first things first, we have the rulebook. I'm pretty sure you can't see it on camera, but the quality is already showing. The whole game has awesome quality and the rulebook is no exception to that. It's very compact, it's very concise, it has a nice structure, it has examples for everything, it leaves no room for questions, and it is overall a great rulebook. It even has an index at the very end, so you can find whatever you're looking for easy. And at the end of the rulebook is the round structure overview that you can use during the game as a player aid, basically. Then we have the location guide player aids. There's two of them here. Kinfire Council is a worker placement game at its core, and the main board has 18 locations, and most of them have 2 available actions on them, so it's a lot to keep track of. And it's helpful to have these going around the table so that everyone can see what's going on the main board. They also have an upgraded side on the back, so it's good to know what happens if you upgrade this specific location. So yeah, overall very helpful. Next we have this little bag that I pushed aside twice now. It has the logo of the game at the front, and it's filled with the cultist cheats. You'll see some of them here now. Let's focus. Most of them are numbered, but there are also a couple that are the cult leaders. So we have 18 of them. They are supposed to be blindly drawn from the bag at the beginning of each round, and they block the corresponding space on the board. But the bag also works as a storage solution. Apparently, you can keep them in the bag and in the box safely if you're not playing. The board itself is a double-layered board that keeps the district tiles in the little nooks here. They don't go anywhere while playing. As I mentioned earlier, they all have backside and the front side. The blue one is the upgraded side, and that's where you place your workers to go and get actions. That's also where the cultists are placed to block the place for players. This is just tier 1. We'll see a couple more as we get through the box. A few more player aids. There's 6 of them, 1 for each player. They basically have the symbol explanations that you'll need during the game, and on the back is the turn structure for each player and some notes on the skills that you can train your workers in. The threat board and the lighthouse tracker are 2 sideboards that you place during gameplay. This is where the cards of the threats are placed so that people can go in the action spaces and thwart the threats. And this tracks the lighthouse construction, so to speak, during a round. And these are the points that the players get for building the lighthouse. These are the points that the cult gets if the lighthouse is not built properly. Then we have the status board, which is a bigger board that is placed next to the main city board. It tracks several things from the 2 main decks of cards, the decree cards and the research cards. These are the skills that you can train your workers in, the point tracker for players and the cult, the city needs that need to be met during a round, and that's the space for the cult and what is going to happen at the end of the round if you don't deal with them. This is the first player marker, and I'll take this opportunity to show you the fancy edition as well that is in this box, so give me a moment to take it out of there. There we go. You can see them right next to each other. This is a heavy metallic thing, by the way. It's back and forth, same as that, but it's basically the same thing, just a more fancy edition. Point trackers for the cult. A small help sheet to help you put everything back in the box properly. The 5 lighthouse side cards. I've already mentioned the lighthouse earlier. We have 5 cards that 1 of each is used during each round. They have different action spaces on them and different requirements to build the lighthouse. And they are also working as a tracker for the 5 rounds of the game. If you run out of lighthouse side cards, you've basically ended the game. And then we have the counselor sheets and the worker sheets. I'll get these out. There's 6 of each, and pairs are randomly created at the beginning of the game for players to draft. So this is your main character with a very powerful special ability that you can use throughout the game. And this is your player color together with a seeker that has a special ability at the beginning of the game. You can train the rest of your workers in skills, as I mentioned earlier, but you start with the seeker that has already a special ability printed on them. And there is the 6 different colors, the 6 different counselors. Similar to the first tier board, we have the third tier board. It's the same thing, double layered, smaller, and I'll take those out now to show you how they work during the game. You'll need those, so these are going to be removed by then, but basically you have the tier 3 board on top of that so that you can see the elevation of the tiers during the game, which is very helpful and looks awesome. I moved things around just a little bit, and we have the player pieces in the 6 colors that you saw the worker sheets in. They correspond to that. And I will not open all of them right now, but I will show you one of them, and it's basically similar for each player color. You have the standee for your seeker. It has a front and back. Each one of them has their own character and their own character art. Then you have the cheats for your 5 workers. They each have their own little story that you can read on the player sheets, by the way. And you don't always use all 5 of them in a game. Depending on the number of players, you may use a different number of workers. And then one of these is used as your point tracker and the +50, +100 marker. And then these are the lanterns that you use during the game. You basically use them to mark whatever you do throughout the game, like votes, meeting the city needs, building the lighthouse. On the back, they all have a different symbol on them depending on the color. So if someone in your group has a problem telling colors apart, you may flip them on the other side and play like that to help them recognize them. This is the city coffers bowl. Basically, when you pay taxes to the city, everything is put in here, and there are some special abilities that may let you draw money from here or do something with them, so you need to keep them separately, basically from the main supply of coins. The game comes with 3 decks of cards. First, we have the decree cards. As you see on the back side, these are for voting. At the beginning of each round, 2 of them get revealed. They are of different types, and people can vote throughout the round, and at the end of the round, they get resolved. Whichever one gets the most votes passes, and whatever it says on the text happens, maybe for the rest of the game, maybe instantly, maybe there's a crisis, but overall that's the use of these cards. Then we have the research cards that are a very powerful resource for players. You can gain them with various abilities throughout the city actions. Most of them have very powerful abilities depending on what you want to do during the game. Some of them are more powerful than others, but overall they give you special things to do that are super useful, and lots of people go for them because of that. Finally, we have the threat deck. I've already showed you the threat board. You place these on it. You basically give resources to thwart the threat, and if you do, you get points. And you prevent disaster from happening. This is just to keep everything from falling apart, apparently. And then we have the tier 2 of the city board. Similar to the others, again, you can take this tray out of the box during the game and place the tier 2 on top of it. So you create basically a ladder with the tier 1 on the table. Tier 2 is slightly higher, and then tier 3 is even higher above. Also, the higher up you go, the more powerful the actions become, so you pay taxes to go up there that you place into the city coffer, as I said earlier. Finally, we have a bunch of tokens that I don't think I need to take out of the tray. It's pretty easy to see them in here anyway, but these are the various resources that you use throughout the game. These are the trouble tokens that you use to mark damage to the lighthouse or damage on the threats. These tokens are used to mark destroyed locations and stuff that may happen through the threats. These are tokens that the players can gain to take extra victory points when they perform certain things. These are the tiles that have all the special abilities that you can train your workers in, and you take them, you place them on your player board to mark that. And with that, we've emptied the base game box, so let's move on to the Winds of Change expansion, shall we? Let's open the box. They're much smaller, by the way, the other two, so we went through the bulk with the base game, I think. Let's put this up here. Actually, it's easier for me. So, we have another rule book, much more compact, much easier to read. We loved this expansion because in reality, you only need to get through a couple of pages of rules to start playing, and it introduces some very nice changes to the gameplay. It includes solo mode and cooperative gameplay, and all of that with just a few additional rules. Now, the expansion comes with brand new location guide sheets and player aid sheets, because a few things, not a few, a couple of things change, but they wanted to keep everything in one place, so that's very nice. 6 of the player aids and 2 location guides. We also have 3 additional Lighthouse side cards that do not increase the length of the game. You just shuffle all 8 of them together, pick 5 randomly for your game, and set the 3 remaining aside. Let's take this out. Now, as I mentioned, the expansion comes with a whole new set of district tiles. They are very similar to the ones we've already seen. The back side is the upgraded side, but they are all with different actions from the base game, and the legacy mode style that is introduced with the game actually says that you swap 3 of them for your very first game, and then there are laws and decrees that can be voted for more of them to be swapped out, and you keep the changes in between games, so you never play with the exact same city more than once. These cards are basically more research cards that you freely shuffle into the main deck. Similarly, more threat cards that you shuffle into the deck, and more decree cards that you shuffle into the main deck. They have a very similar use, they just add more variety. These are a new deck of cards, I think I have them upside down, yes, that are only used in the solo and cooperative mode. They basically are laws or orders that the cult wants to pass, and they already have some pre-existing votes on them on behalf of the cult. So if you want to win, you have to probably not let too many of those pass, and you need to vote for your own. So instead of having 2 decree cards at the beginning of each round, you have the 2 normal ones plus one of those for the cult. And then the final 2 things here are a bunch of new tiles to mark bad things that happen to the city, actually. Some of them are similar to the ones that we've already seen in the base game, some of them are completely new, but they work in the same way. The new resource that gets introduced with the expansion are the favor tokens, and they are straight to the upgraded tokens. We don't have cardboard ones, they are all wooden ones like that. They are even more powerful than the ones we've seen in the base game, but every time you use one, the cult gets 2 points, so you can use them freely if you want to support the cult, or use them wisely if you don't. With that, we're done with the expansion as well, and we can move on to the upgrade kit. So you'll basically see the same things in here, just a fancier version of them. Apart from that, that is a lore book, basically. It has all different kinds of lore details about everything you see within the game, for the whole world, for how the Kinfire works, and yeah, all the nice stuff that are hidden behind the game. As far as story goes, you meet the various people that you actually may have seen in previous Kinfire games as well. If you've played any of them, you probably already recognized some of them, and we are reintroduced to them with some more detail, with some of their backstory and everything you need to know about the game if you're interested in the whatever is going on in the background. Okay, so all these trays can be used during the game. You just take them out of the box, open up the little thing, and you're ready to go. These are these ones, basically. You can see them right next to each other here. Much fancier, don't you think? And the same happens for each one of them. These are the food tokens, the coins, lots of them, magic, and I think these are called common. We call them stone, sorry. But yeah. You've seen all of those in the base game, they're just better. This tray comes out like so. And then we have the fancy trouble tokens in a similar fashion. And these are the fancy player mats. I'm gonna be honest with you, we were not very excited with how they turned out. They are a little bit too thick, their cut is not very nice. The colors are probably a bit worse than the normal player boards. Overall, we ended up not using them, and when you put them right next to the Counselor card, they look weird. So yeah, everything else we were so excited about, but these one were not our favorites. Then we have all these little baggies that have the upgraded player components in them. They didn't come like that, but you keep them in there. And basically we have put everything into the main box, but I wanted to show you which box contains what today, so I put them back just before the video. These are the lantern tokens with the same symbols on the back, and they come in all player colors. And these are kept separately in a little fancy situation and are used for tracking the points of each player. There we go! We have officially created a huge mess up here, but I'm going to put these all back into their boxes, probably in a different way that will allow you to squeeze everything into hopefully just 2 boxes. And if I do that good enough, I may show you in another video. So yeah, if you're still here after all this, please leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching and see you on the next one. Bye!